Have you ever thought, I'd love to teach groups, but my studio's not big enough? Well, today you're going to see group classrooms of all different shapes and sizes, from big to small, and the other options teachers are using for groups. Some are even better than home studios, and you're going to be looking at different spaces from home studios to church halls to commercial spaces. So stay with us because we have clips and pics from some of our Group Piano University course graduates to show you. You'll be surprised at all the different kinds of spaces teachers use for groups. Hi, and welcome to the Piano Teaching Success Podcast. I'm Gillian.
And I'm Paul, and today we're going to talk about something that for most piano teachers is where group piano either starts to feel possible or completely overwhelming, and that is the logistics. Because once you see that group piano can work musically and educationally, the next question is, okay, but how would this actually work in my studio? And how long are the classes? How many students? How do I charge? And where do I even teach them? And underneath all of those is a deeper question. Could this actually work for me in real life?
Yeah. So today we're going to start with the basics, and we're going to talk about the kind of space you need to teach groups, because that's where many teachers get stuck before they even get going. So one of the first things teachers think is, I don't have the space for groups. And it's true that teaching groups does require more space than private lessons. Each student needs their own instrument, for example. Now, in most cases, that means digital pianos because they're compact, they're reliable, they don't require tuning, and so that makes them a very practical group classroom instrument.
Well, you really don't need a huge purpose-built studio to start with. You can start with a space where you can comfortably fit 3 or 4 students, and that's a great start. And I went to visit Rachel in the UK last year, and she's got 4 students, and she's now actually been going for 3 years, is it, Gillian?
Yeah, 3 or 4, I think. Yeah.
I think she's over 50% of her students are now group students, and it might even be 60 or 70% even. I can't remember. And we've also got Andrea in the US, and she was teaching 3. Anyway, I went to visit her and said, I'm sure we can fit an extra one in this classroom. So we found an extra one, a way that we can actually fit another student in. So she can do 4 now, which is fantastic. The moment you move from 1 student to 3 or 4 students, Gillian, you're really changing the economics, aren't you?
Yeah, you absolutely are. And so sometimes it's just about clearing out your studio, having a big cleanup, or reimagining the studio space that you already have. And we've helped many teachers do that. But if for some reason your current space just doesn't allow for groups and it's super, super small, well, there are just so many simple options at your fingertips. Things like music rooms in schools, or even just a spare classroom in a school, like a primary school, local primary school, church halls, community music centres. So this is like a community. It can sometimes be attached to maybe a music shop or a piano shop. And sometimes, these are actually quite common in America, sometimes it's a whole music school, but they rent the studio spaces out per studio. And you can get different size spaces in and pay a different rate. And then sometimes you can do this sort of rent per hour space, things like church halls where you're just renting it for an hour at a time. And that can be a great place to start. You don't want to go committing yourself to commercial premises up front. You just want to try this on an hourly basis and get going, get your confidence going. And then as you do that, then you can move into, with much more confidence, into taking on a bigger space or a dedicated commercial space that's more permanent for yourself. So we thought you might like to see inside some of our Group Piano University graduates' classrooms. So we've got some lovely photos and some footage to share with you. And there's just a range of spaces that these teachers are using. So I just think it's going to be so actually fascinating. So make sure you stick with us. And if you're listening to us on podcast, we're going to try and describe the spaces to you as much as we can. But if you really want to see what these look like, make sure you're looking at them in our podcast space on pianoteachingsuccess.com, or go to YouTube and find us on there as well. So let's start with school classrooms, because I think one of the teachers that have made this work so well for her is Vanessa. And backstory of Vanessa, she lives in a very remote area of Western Australia. It's like a half an hour drive, I think, to the closest school. So she lives on a farm in a rural community. And so she was actually invited to go to a primary school, which is about an hour and a half drive away, and teach during the day for the whole day. And they actually were so keen to have Vanessa work for them that they gave her, free of charge, a dedicated classroom. So she put her instruments in there, and this is her dedicated classroom. So this is the classroom with nobody in it. And I think she's been very industrious. And she's made covers for all of her instruments so that when she's not there, the dust covers can go on. It's pretty dusty. It's dusty out in Central Australia. I guess she's not in Central Australia, but rural Australia is a lot of dust.
She also has another classroom where she does jungle music, which is our 0 to 3-year-olds program. I think they look like they're having a lot of fun there.
They sure do. And the next teacher I'd like to show you is Melody. Now, Melody has only started not even a year ago. She did Group Piano University this time last year, and she's got a lovely space in a local school. So this is her studio. Yeah, you can see she's decorated it beautifully. And then there's Margie from New Zealand, and Margie also works out of a classroom in a primary school. Here she is working with her children, her students in her class. And so she rents that space during the daytime, most days a week, or at least 3 days a week. And then I think she goes to another school on another day in the week during the daytime. And then she also rents a room, quite a large classroom actually, in a community arts centre. And it's just, again, a rent by hour space. And she's in New Zealand in a quite kind of, it's not in the main, it's in the South Island. In not a very highly populated area, but it's a township for sure.
And this is Andrea that I just went to visit, and this is her studio. She's about to move it around to take 4 students, and it's in a rented space in a music school. And so she is the only group teacher there, and it's going very well for her. And Andrea's actually looking at expanding and looking at some space next door to where she is now. You know, it's a very new area in Sacramento.
Fantastic. And Kaylin, who's in Wisconsin in America, she also teaches from a community music school. And this is part of a piano store. Well, it's attached to a piano store. So there's a piano store in the middle, and then there's teaching rooms all around the outside, and she rents a space from them. So this is her space. Again, it's not super big. You've noticed that a few of these do not have super big spaces. In fact, she's bursting at the seams. So she's now looking at renting her own space. She's gone from, 50 private students. Again, she's a new one. She's only did Group Piano University she finished about June last year and started teaching almost immediately. And she had 50 private students, and now she has 70 students, but only 20 of them are private. So that means she's got 50 group students. And she's finishing earlier, and she's got a life. She's going off and doing, I don't know whether it's pickleball or paddle. I don't know. She's playing sport at night time. She's been able to move out of her mum and dad's home, into her own apartment. Because Kaylin finished her music degree only a couple of years ago. And so, yeah, she's relatively new. She did a pedagogy degree and very, very capable teacher. Now we're going to look at church halls, Paul.
This is Victoria's studio in Melbourne, in Australia, and she's in a church hall. And you can see she's got all of the classroom set up and ready to go. That's her teaching piano there, and she's in there a couple of days a week at the moment as she starts building her studio.
You know, there's pluses and minuses with all things. And because the church has grounds outside, the children come early and they play with each other and they play ball and all the rest of it. So actually, she finds that they're quite centered. They've got all the sort of sillies out by the time they come to the lesson, or they stay afterwards and the parents talk and the kids play around the yard. So it's, you know, if they were in her own studio at home, that wouldn't happen. So yeah, sometimes there's pluses and minuses to these things.
And here's Anne from the Central Coast of New South Wales, Australia. We can't see a lot of her studio there.
No. No, but we just wanted to include Anne because she's a very special person. She's had a few health challenges this last year, but she's still keeping on going, and the groups are allowing her to work very productively and have more time off, which is really lovely.
And she's in a school and a church hall.
Yeah, so during the daytime, she works in a school, and after school, she's been going in a church hall, and she too has got plans afoot for a home studio in the backyard. So from church halls, we're going to small commercial spaces because lots of piano teachers around the world would like to have their own small music school. And this was always a dream of Lorraine's. And she is in Malta. And I had the very great fortune to visit with Lorraine last year. Here is her music school, and you can see it's quite small. It's us outside the front, and then we are inside the studio. It's beautiful inside. She has lots and lots of space, and we're looking at hiving off a little bit for a private studio as well. But she's got at least eight class. I think she's got nine pianos in that room. So yeah, and she teaches early childhood in there as well. And then there's Kate, Paul. You caught up with Kate in California.
I did. I did catch up with Kate, and her current studio is very lovely. This is her current studio. I was there last week. And her sister.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely
and I think
studio.
it's in Mum and Dad's basement, isn't it?
It is. It's in her parents' space.
And I think Kate and her sister they've been running music classes for early childhood for a long time, and they did Group Piano University because they wanted to then step into the piano teaching in groups. Even though both of them are pianists themselves, and Kate's very experienced in Kadai and teaching as a music specialist in schools as well. So she loved the idea of continuing those little ones into groups, piano groups. And so, yeah, they've just been building gradually for a number of years now, and I think they're about to launch into their own little commercial space as well.
Here's their space that they're looking at the moment.
Oh, it's huge.
It is. It's enormous. That's one room, and then there's another room on the side. It's an amazing space.
So, we're showing you some of these commercial spaces, and for some teachers, that's their dream. For a lot of teachers, that's not their dream. And so their own private studios work well too. But also there's this option to rent some space off someone else. And Lisa Goldworthy, she did this, and she rents space off a ballet school. Here's Lisa working in that space with her students.
So they're having fun. I think they're doing three cool mice there. The kids are having so much fun.
Okay, from commercial spaces, let's go to the home studios because many teachers have made this work. Shauna from Canada, she uses her lounge room to teach, and we're able to change things around and put up a little divider so that on the days that she runs her group classes, there's some privacy and a feeling of community for her group. Again, she uses keyboards so that she can set them up and take them down super easily and turn the room back into her lounge room. And then we got Lee's home studio. Now, Lee's in Alabama, and Lee again taught out of a dining room. This is her normal studio, and it's a lovely big size room. And we were able to fit, I don't know how many Lee's got in it, 4 or 5, Paul.
5, I think, yes. And her beautiful grand piano as well. Oh, got a little bit of video as well. They were having a lot of fun. It's a little piece from book 2 where they start changing hands, and so they're getting ready to play the 2 different hands on their bodies by changing sides.
So she plenty of room for the movement activities on the floor. And I think of Pamela's studio. We've got lovely Pamela who lives in Vermont. Now, this is again another quite a remote or a regional area. And I think you're all going to draw over this one. Pamela moved into the house, did Group Piano University, and went, you know what, I'm going to have my own dedicated studio. So she got the contractor out. Now, you can see how remote, she's quite not in the city. And it
And there's a
snowed
lot.
9 months. Snows for 9 months a year over there. So she's made that work by actually having video. So that if days where they can't come in, she puts the camera on and she teaches them online. Yeah, and if the students are away, she's also been able to do that. So she's got a big monitor screen and everything like that. No, she's got a setup though. She's able to do that.
And here's Pamela's class. I think they're doing the hello song at the start of the lesson.
Yeah, I can see you're all drooling over this room.
She also has a beautiful Steinway grand piano.
And we go back to coming back into Australia now. Bernadette, lovely Bernadette from Sydney, has fitted out her home studio. And gosh, Paul, how many students will Bernadette have?
She can take 4 or 5 students at a time. You can't see all the instruments, but I think there's another one up there behind, past that one.
I'm pretty sure she can take 6.
So there might be some more.
Yes, that we can't see on the right-hand side. And also in Sydney is Katerina. Again, Katerina's only fairly new as well. And she's fitted out her home space also in Sydney. And this is what her space looks like. She's got a whiteboard there, her instruments 2, 4, her piano. It looks like 4 instruments plus her piano, possibly one over to the next to her piano. And of course, there are teachers who already have a room set up and they have their own music school. And I'm thinking of Robert from Texas who has his own music school. And these students are doing Magic Socks, I think.
They are doing magic socks.
It's probably a similar size classroom to yours, Paul.
So instead of thinking, I don't have the space, we can start thinking about what's the simplest space I could use to get started. And I think one of the most important things, we always say this, Gillian, don't we? It's about your mindset. So start opening your mind to opportunities and options, and you'll be amazed. You'll find them everywhere.
Yes, I really can't wait to see what sort of teaching space you find because I hope today from seeing all of these different styles, there's just such a wide array of classrooms and studios that teachers are using. And as Paul said before, you don't have to start where you are going to finish. You can start somewhere and then that's what so many of the teachers have done. They started small and just got themselves started. They've got their confidence up. They've got their ability to teach and implement the processes, the teaching processes with even small groups of 4s and 5s. And then they gain the confidence and then they get used to building groups. They get used to starting groups and they're going, yes, I'm going to go to a bigger space. Some of them don't. Some of them stay exactly where they are and they love that. So it's just a matter of doing what's perfect for you.
If you want to find out some more about those logistics that we were talking about at the beginning of today's podcast, like how long are the classes? How many students do you want to have in a class? What do I charge? Then we have a special bonus for all of our podcast viewers and listeners. Check the show notes for your special link to watch part 2 of our 3-part group piano breakout series.
So part 2 was all about the logistics. All of those questions that we've just said there are answered in part 2. So if you like today's episode, make sure you click the like and subscribe buttons. It helps the platform you're on know that you like to see more of this type of content. And if you're not on our newsletter list already, make sure you do that straight away, because each time a new episode or a blog is released, you'll receive it straight into your inbox. Just go to our website, pianoteachingsuccess.com, join the newsletter list, and we'll make sure you never miss an episode or free resource again.
Well, that's all we've got time for today. We will see you at the next episode. Bye-bye.